Welcome to Act 3, the final stretch of our Dishonorable Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. This is an honor mode playthrough of BG3 where anything and everything goes. Cheese threats, check. Invis abuse, check. Explosives, check. All in the name of getting the golden dice. Let's begin. Usually, I would start by yapping at you about the plan, but we are getting ambushed. With Misty Step, we easily enter the portal, and at the end of the path, oh look, it's this dunderhead. As we all know, I hate this guy. On a side note, that video has over 200,000 views right now, and I don't know how to feel about that. I begrudgingly landed a hand because it is necessary to advance the story. After dispatching the honor guard with ease, we formally meet the Emperor. We hear it drone on and on about its mental gymnastics for deceiving us and what we need to do going forward, blah blah blah. Let's just move on. So now we are entering Act 3 proper through Rivington and meet Yenna. Hello Yenna. Before getting into a kerfuffle with the escort of a local toy maker and nothing else over a property dispute. As we wail on the unassuming security detail, let me tell you my plans in Act 3. Step 1 is to actually get inside Baldur's Gate, the city. A lot of really solid and best in slot stuff we can just buy. After getting into the city, the 3 priority items we need that is not for purchase are the 2 arcane battery staves from Loroakan and Raphael, and those are for Shadowheart to use, and Rhapsody from Cazador. This one is for Azir. Offensively, Karlach is pretty capped, and Lae'zel has a minor upgrade with the Gauntlet of the War Master we can buy at Dantlons, but her major upgrade is tied to her personal quest, so we need to do that. And also, a big plan of Act 3 is getting to level 12. Storming Tsar Family Manor or House of Hope or even Ramazith's Tower pre-12 sounds like a recipe for a bad time. So for now we will clear every encounter in Rivington that's not just blatantly attacking the Flaming Fist. Alright, yapping done, let's actually clear out Rivington. Starting with this unassuming grain silo with a fresh Mind Flayer in it. Up next is the circus. We commission a statue, do a Facebook relationship quiz with Shadowheart, mess around with the circus animals and take them out of the ambush encounter. This is why I love Speak with Animals. We then confront Not Dribbles.
Praise the absolute.
We then murder Not Dribbles in cold blood. With the clown dead, we say goodbye to the circus and head for the local temple, where the head priest has just been murdered. Through the basement is a cave network with a ballless cleanup crew just chilling. We permanently chill them. Get it? Because dead bodies are cold? Anyway, Speak with Dead reveals a dwarf in red named Galore to be behind the murder. It's time for us to report this to Valeria and get our pass to enter the city. But to get to the stupid Holophant, we need to get past the checkpoint, where there is a little complication. After getting bailed by the Iron Hand gnomes, we book it past the checkpoint and enter the southern span of Worm's Crossing. We head to Shares's Caress to obtain our lower city pass.
And you'll need this pass. It'll give you access to the lower city.
And while we're here, we might as well check out the Devil's Den upstairs and meet Raphael. After making Raphael give us his detailed plan, we refuse to sign on the dotted lines and were promptly kicked out. We'll need to raid the House of Hope for the Staff of Spell Power anyways, so this is fine. Also, we get this cutscene right after.
You didn't feel it? Then perhaps my protection. But I was sure. Never mind.
That's right, Squidface, I can gaslight too. From here we can jump on the roof and parkour our way into the secret room of the Flophouse, where we find the body of the missing Dwarven Entertainment's district worker. Speak with Dead reveals the red dwarf Galore. Again, how peculiar. We parkour back and decide to snoop around, and we found ourselves in one of the rooms, and the patron, a Flaming Fist, turns into a Mind Flayer. And we turned said Mind Flayer into EXP. and that EXP got us to level 10. Up next is Dantalon's Dancing Axe for the Secret Harper Rendezvous. In Dantalon's, we do a little bit of shopping in quotations because bag exploit. We are stealing legally Arrow of Many Targets and a Potion of Cloud Giant Strength every restock we get, not just from here but from every vendor that could possibly stock them. I'm just saying this right now because I'm not gonna show every time I do that. The gauntlets are for Lae'zel and the Blur Cloak is for Karlach. It's time we head down and meet with Geraldus, and for the third time today, it's a Changeling ambush. Also for the third time today, Dead Changelings. Jaheira asks us to help her find Minsc, and we accept because it's Minsc and Boo, timeless heroes. And now we get to enter the city, but not before attending a stupid coronation. Gortash's coronation is pretty boring, so I have come to you with trivia about the city of Baldur's Gate. I just want to share this map of Baldur's Gate, and highlighted now are the areas accessible to us in the game Baldur's Gate 3. As you can see, there's quite a bit omitted. No, this is not a dig at Larian. Obviously they have achieved something extraordinary here. I was personally inspired to share this bit of trivia after a real-life colleague asked about this piece of loading screen art and asked if this is Rivington and Worm's Crossing, why is the rest of the city so far away? And it's because this large winding road going around a huge mountain is not in the game. This is Outer City, where Karlach is from, and specific to this playthrough, this is where Azir is from. Right here, Little Kalimshan, which is a district built by refugees from Kalimshan, of which Azir is one of them. I know it's new information for you the viewers, but for me, knowing this since the beginning gives a clean bridge between quests I need to do for the build, like saving the tiefling refugees to get the potent robe, and Azir's personal character motivations of saving the refugees because he's been there. Alright, trivia over. And coronation over. Thank you for indulging me. Before we get out of here, let's get Counselor Floric out of here. It's not a particularly complex affair. After all, we have Gale, our Swiss army knife, or a water-deep city guard knife. We persuade the guard we are here to interrogate Floric and make a beeline straight to her. We persuade her that there is hope in saving Ravengard, and she agrees to be let out. To get her out, we first lockpick the door to the storage room. In the storage room, we blast the wall down with Eldritch Blast, and then we head back to her cell. We lockpick instead of using the knock spell because the verbal component does attract attention from the guards, and then we cast Greater Invisibility, and then we just walk out of there. With Floric out, that's Rivington done. Welcome to Baldur's Gate. I always thought it was a shame to not have a quick pan through cutscene of the city when we first enter, but that's besides the point. Let's get shopping! From our old buddy Dammon, we get the Unwanted Masterwork Scale Mail for Karlach. From Helsic's top shelf stock, we get the Cloak of the Weave. From the Stormshore Armory, we get Deadshot from Fitz, and the Armor of Agility from Gloomy Fentonson. From the Sorcerer's Sundries, we get Birthright, Ring of Regen, and all of their Globe of Invincibility scrolls. Let's go ice some guys. Our first target is the Githyanki contingent under the Elfsong Tavern. To do that, we need to get past the rats. Of course, much like Act 2, there are fights in Act 3 you can skip, assuming you can talk down the opposition, and I will be trying them most of the time. Entering the Knight of the Shield hideout, we confronted the Githyanki search party and talked them down. While I'm glad we didn't need to fight, let it be known on the record that I would have whooped their asses. We can actually access the sewers from here, so wait. Halsin? What are you doing here? Wait, you're not Halsin? Yes, Orin has now kidnapped Halsin, and we set out to rescue him. Eventually. For now, I think fresh air would do us some good. Oh, there appears to be a wine festival happening. I wonder if we can partake in some day drinking. Oh god, it's a Dwarven Red! In all seriousness, Dolor and his entourage of not Dolors went down without an issue. And now we nab his bag of hands and the details to the murder tribunal and head to Candle Hallow. Yes, we are becoming an unholy assassin this playthrough, strictly for Crater Flesh gloves. Lae'zel could probably benefit from the ballast armor, but I am lazy and bad at positioning. Is this fail RP? Probably. Is this dishonorable? Yes. Is the Crater Flesh that good? Hell yes. We lie to Sarevok and send Valeria back to Mount Celestia and bathe in a pool of blood to become an unholy assassin. This of course also grants us the amulet for later use. We are going after Gortash first, then Orin this playthrough. Our next source of Pacifist EXP is Gale's questline, which is pretty straightforward. After learning the location of the Annals of Karsus from the bookseller, we go upstairs and fart in front of the door. One lockpick door and portal later, we arrive inside the vault of Ramazit's tower. In here, sleight of hand to disarm traps, and the knock spell is your best friend as we head into the section aptly named Karsus. We had Gale read the book, implore him to not go through with his dumb plan, and that's that. Or so we thought, until we returned to our room in Elfsong and found Elminster just hanging out. We check in with Elminster and the old man directs Gale to Misra. We head to the tabernacle where Gale has an audience with Misra and is re-chosen. After all that, we are due for a quick rest and oh my god, it's this cutscene. Skip. It's a brand new day, and it's time to clear out the streets of Baldur's Gate from all culty and cult adjacent elements, starting with the public park. With nature's beauty restored, we move on to the docks by the Bitch Queen's house and the factory to see our old buddy Volo being falsely accused by more cultists. We set him free and kill the people responsible. After that debacle, we head to another dock, this one with all the fishing boats, to intercept a Sahuagin land raid. We got the fish people with relative ease. And with this, I believe we are done with all the loose surface encounters. So now we go underground to the sewers. We immediately clock some bad news in the sewers. Some insane trigger-happy sorcerer is undergoing a funeral rite of sorts and misidentified us as absolute cultists. We get him to stand down on the condition of us giving him a wide berth, and this gives us our level 11. The only other thing we do down here is to clear out the cultists hanging out around the sluice valve control thing. There we go, it's not too hard and we make it easier for us down the line. In the spirit of making things easier down the line, we break into Flim's cargo and deal with the guard wargs and the lone dockmaster. And this might have gotten out of hand because instead of doing the Minsk questline, which is easier, I kinda did a detour and went to the Steel Watcher factory instead. After picking the gate lock, we easily clean up the Watcher outside and all of the Bainite inside. We find Xander in the back room, and this is the moment a simple detour turned into a full-on clear attempt of the quest. It's time for the Iron Throne. Alright, my Iron Throne strat is pretty simple. The main principle is that you want to rescue everybody but Omelium and have them be in turn order by the end of the second turn. We got decent luck in terms of initiative order. It's a bit of a shame that Karlach is the one that got split up because she is our fastest combatant, but it's not the end of the world. We send Shadowheart to Duke Ravengard, who will escape with Mizora's help. Karlach straight down the middle, and Gale Arcane Gates Azir to the right. Azir just deals so much damage and is very action economy efficient that he's able to just crack open doors and hit enemies with Eldritch Blast, so he just basically solos the right side. If you want tips, don't forget you can close doors behind you. There are levers on the walls. This is especially useful with the center and maybe the side with the Duke. We got most of the gnomes out, losing only one person. With Iron Throne out of the way, it is time for the factory basement. We got through the preliminary scuffle handily, and it's time to tackle the Steel Watcher Titan. The reason I'm pretty comfortable doing the Titan first, even before Minsk, is that there is a pretty well-known cheese. The Titan is too fat. It cannot go through this door. So we are saving him to just pick away at his health, heal up, and when the Titan grenades the room, boom, Involdome. It's great. Or so we thought. Uh-oh. Thankfully, everyone, including Xander, does respectable damage. We clean up the last Hellfire and set the factory to explode. We go outside, fuck Wilburn Bongle, and gain the Iron Hand Gnomes as allies. Okay, now we go after Minsk. His trail starts at the guild where we meet local crime lord Nine Fingers Keen. Called that because at some point she lost a finger. She let slip that Minsk is under the troll of the Absolute and has been calling himself the Stone Lord, and the guild is planning to ambush him. We got further information from Oktar the Bursar that the Stone Lord ambush is gonna happen at the counting house, so it's time to go to the bank. In the bank, we actually got to level 12 by going down the stairs. Kinda anticlimactic, but this does allow us to enter beat the game mode after we got Minsk. Speaking of, there he is! But uh-oh, it's a reverse ambush. Also, did you know if you ping an Invis target via their portrait on the initiative order, it just gives you their location? Also, did you know that physical projectiles, like Karlach's spear, can hit Invis targets? It's great! And now they're dead! The traces the ambush party left shows that they teleported from the sewers, and going through the sluice drain tunnel we find the cultists and the Zents are doing some sort of deal, but more importantly, it's Minsk! We knock him out and murder the rest of the cultists before recruiting Minsk and Boo, timeless heroes. We then rush back to the guild hideout to take care of the final loose ends of the quest, the Zant attack. We dispatch the Zantarim rather easily and mediate the working relationship between Nine Fingers and Minsk.
Can't we just go back to killing one another instead?
And now we are done with the quest line. Let's beat the game. First on the checklist is Lorokan. This fight is not that hard. We have very good action economy with 2 thieves and a fighter, so we easily mow down the Myrmidons before ending the insolent wizard. As a bonus, Roland is alive. From Lorokan's personal belongings, we grab the robe of the weave and the Marco Heshkir. Second on the checklist, Raphael. We go to the Devil's Fee and use the money we stole from the counting house to pay our way into hell after haggling. We head upstairs, open the literal portal to literal hell and hop in. Welcome to the House of Hope, where bad things happen to us. After getting the tour of the house, including grabbing the Staff of Spell Power, we scurry off to the boudoir and find Harlep. We engage in combat and dispatch Harlep and the imps without much trouble. Where it started to go wrong was when we tried to free Hope. I fell. But other than that, the encounter isn't really that hard. It's just real hazardous. After getting Hope out of prison, it's finally time to kill Raphael. And this is where things go really wrong. Because while I did know about the true form, I underestimated the damage he could dish out. But we did survive and settle into a nice rhythm between mitigating further damage and killing the ads, and after Raphael's the only one left, we did perma-prone the poor guy, and now he's dead. And with that we are done with the House of Hope. Third on the checklist is Cazador, and you will notice a trend. The encounters leading to these big story bosses are not that interesting or challenging. So we're just gonna skip past and head straight to the respective major boss fights. Cazador worries me. Shadowheart is the only member that has a good chance to get Cazador out of his uber mist form, but she doesn't roll initiative good. This worry persists precisely until I saw Azir had an 80% chance to hit Cazador in mist form, and that's when I knew we'd be alright. Cazador was done in by Azir's second turn, and his gaggle of assorted minions followed soon after. Astarion got his cathartic ending and freedom, and we looted Rhapsody, Azir's last best in slot weapon. Oh, and before we head to the next part, let me show you why the 2 arcane battery staves belong to Shadowheart. It is a small camp cleric setup where after every long rest we use 1 battery for Hero's Feast and the other for 8 upcasted to level 6. Speaking of Shadowheart, our next stop is the House of Grief. Thankfully, the House of Grief is very easy to get into. In fact, Viconia herself let us in. After antagonizing her, we enter combat, and I had thought this fight to be harder than Cazador, but then Karlach started throwing things at her. If those two misses were hits, she'd be dead. But yeah, same story with Cazador, only a little bit more annoying. Viconia went down early and we eventually took down the rest of the Sharans. As a shadow simp, we killed Viconia in the name of God's favorite princess.
Embrace loss.
And we free her parents. Next up is the Worm's Rock double whammy. After flipping a coin for directions, fate decrees we head down first. The answer puzzles are pretty easy if you know the answers beforehand and are a genius, 1000 rated chess player like myself. I wasn't particularly worried about the fight, and after getting more lore on Squidfuck over there, Answer revives and the fight ensues. There were no big complications during the fight. We did use one scroll of Invuln Bubble, but I expected that. It's the easiest way to get past his giant AoE. And with that, Undead Dragon down. Now is Gortash time. The funniest thing about Gortash to me is that even now, he still tries to bargain and reason with us. He literally tried to kill us, and we blew up both his prison and factory and freed the prisoners. Bay Knights, am I right? After his stupid bubble runs out, he went down, followed by the last Bay Knight, and that is our second Nether Stone, baby. We are on the home stretch, and now it's Orin time. This fight was bad, because I was bad. Yeah, that was clumsy of me. Didn't realize she could do that. Despite the blunder, Azir was revived and we slowly stabilized and got into a good rhythm for the fight, topping off our health, knocking off Ballast into the chasm, and then we wail on Orin to death. With Orin dead, we retrieve our final Nether Stone and it's time for the finale. We head to the underground dock and take the boat, rowing down by the river towards the supposed lake housing the Netherbrain. Confronting the Netherbrain, the only roll that matters is the last one, and we got... I'm not gonna do that the whole time. We got the 20, let's go. The scripted failure scene ensues and we are pulled into the prison realm by Squid Keep, Squid Light, Squid Boss. And we do the double cross and free Orpheus. We go back to the material plane and meet up with our allies before heading up, but not before popping some Invis potion to avoid the fight. In the back half, we can actually use Invis Orpheus to just levitate up. And after the cutscene triggers, everyone else will be teleported alongside him. Final battle time. Okay, so in my tactician practice runs, I was consistently unable to rush the portal. Tried a lot of things like double dimension door, a combination of arcane gate and dimension door, greater invisibility. Even if I get to start channeling, having the dragon, all 4 dream guardians and all 4 mind flayers alive is not a good time. So my actual solution is to just actually fight the battle. We kill the emperor first, obviously. How does it feel to be wrong and dead, dumbass? We clear the dream guardians and slay the dragon. With this, we freely move up to the final platform and start clearing the mind flayers and channel our Triforce to open the portal. Everyone entered first to prepare for the backup strat, but it was unnecessary. Check this out. Azir enters and starts blasting. Man, this build is good. We command the brain to free us and we have now beaten Baldur's Gate 3 in honor mode. It was less dicey than I dreaded it to be, and it's surprisingly fun to treat Baldur's Gate 3 not as a role-playing experience, but as a pure numerical game. It's a different kind of fun. If you've watched until this point, thank you for enjoying the playthrough. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed your time. I will see you around. Maybe I'll try to solo the game next time. Cheers.